Hello and welcome to Youth Assembly. It is the 23rd day of February 2021, and it's so good to be here once again to do this with you. We like the show to be interactive, and so I urge you today to make sure you contribute and send in your questions and even your contributions on the topic of discussion, which is the need for better learning conditions in Nigerian public schools. Now, you and I will agree that children deserve to learn in a conducive environment that is safe and healthy in order to enhance learning and academic performance. Now, this is not the case for many less privileged children in Nigerian public schools, as they are subjected to some of the harshest learning conditions due to lack of basic amenities and even learning facilities. Now, how can the learning condition in public schools in Nigeria be improved on by the government of the day? My name is Sylvia Ishebe. I'm not doing this alone. I am doing it with Mrs. Nyiedum Ufot, who is an educationist. Welcome, Mrs. Nyiedum.
Thank you so much.
All right, good to have you. So, this episode of Youth Assembly is focused on the need for better learning conditions in Nigerian public schools. And how would you describe, Madam, the situation or the learning condition in many public schools in Nigeria?
The learning conditions in many of our public schools is far below standard, far below standard in any civilization or any country you consider developed. It's not an environment conducive for learning for most of our public schools. It's not.
All right. Well, what have you seen so far that made you come to this conclusion that the condition of learning is not what it should be?
Okay, for the most part, now for the government schools within town, they have the structure, that they have the buildings, most of them that's within town. I can't say the same for the rural areas. For the rural areas, it's a whole different story. But let me even start from within the city capitals and all that.
Yes.
Most of them have the local government and state built schools. They have the structure, they have the classroom, they have the facilities, but they are not. Some of them have not been painted in ages. Some of them have cracked walls. Some of them have roofs that have fallen off that have not been repaired. Um, the benches and chairs are all out. No toilets. Most of these schools don't have toilets. The children are either struggling to use limited toilets or have to look for a way to relieve themselves. Um, the writing, the boards, the blackboards, most of them are all dilapidated. And even for some states that some of the newer governments did some restructuring and renovation of some of these facilities, they are, of course, with our poor maintenance culture, those facilities are running down again because the same attitude we put up for everything that is done by the government. It's not, we don't care, it's not our thing. So there's no maintenance culture, everything is just allowed to run down. So that's the situation you find in our schools. For some of them, the structures are there, but there's
All
nothing
right.
in
So,
the
but one will ask,
and the few things that are there have all been destroyed or have not been repaired.
yes. In fact, I will agree with you. One would ask the question that how did our public schools get to this place? I remember back in the day when you want to go to the federal government schools, in so many states. If you are not a student in one of those schools, those days, those unity schools, you will be like you're not trendy, or you don't know what the time is. But how did our public schools get to that point where they used to be the center of excellence in the past to get to a level of decay that we are seeing today? I mean, we've seen so many pictures make it to the online space, and you would just wonder what happened. Is it that nobody is seeing this decay and rot, or it's just a thing of I don't care? What would you say is responsible for this decay?
It's just our poor maintenance culture. We don't have a maintenance culture globally.
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Go ahead with your line of thought. Yes.
Okay, I was saying that we generally have a poor maintenance culture as a people.
Mm.
General poor maintenance culture, and it runs across every parastatal, every ministry, every sector of the economy. So it also reflected in our education sector. So that's the decay you see. That everybody wants a piece of the everybody wants a piece of the national cake, but nobody wants to, maintain and keep this thing to survive.
Hmm. But what are the effects of this condition? The place where we've found ourselves, our public schools, in what does it do to the development of children in affected public schools?
Now you know that even as an
Mm-hmm.
adult, the environment affects whatever you have to do. Even your office, if your office is not conducive, you will not have the best output. It's the same thing for education sector. There's one of the classrooms either are too hot, no fans, no windows. Then of course, whatever weather we find extreme conditions. It's rainy season, you will see rain falling into the classes. If it's a dry season, the hot season, you see heat. There's no how children will learn properly under those conditions. Falling roofs, you cannot learn in an environment that is not conducive. Nobody can generally in an environment that is not conducive. The environment should be the children are not cannot take place.
Can you still hear me, madam?
I can hear
All
you.
right,
I
but
hear
lack of
you
funding
clearly.
has also been identified as a major challenge facing the education sector. So experts have continued to advocate for more money to be allocated for education in the budget. But how do you think the government can address the issue of poor funding in the educational sector?
Poor funding has always been a problem because we know that even in our budgets, our national budget, education is not given, a share that is worthy. We education is not a priority for us, and so it also shows even in our budgets. But even the little that has been budgeted for the sector is not even being utilized. And like I said, the little that has even been put on ground from the little budget that has been given is not even maintained. And even the people in leadership positions and um, stakeholders have not even done due diligence even to little that has been even been provided, because just as corruption and embezzlement runs through every fabric of society, this thing happens in our education sector. So the government just has to do better. They have to give a better funding for education. Hello?